If you've ever shared a bottle of wine, chances are you've heard something like this.
A lot of green pepper in this.
It's a little oaky.
Fruit forward.
These descriptions of wine aren't just a way to show off how refined our palate is. They communicate the singular character of the wine we're drinking. And perhaps more than any other beverage, we celebrate and glorify these unique qualities.
We expect milk to be just like the milk that we tried a week ago, just like the week before that. There is an expectation that wine is going to be different. There is something that is allowing us to distinguish those wines from each other.
Dr. Gavin Sachs of Cornell University's Viticulture and Enology program studies these differences on a molecular level.
99.9% of wine is rather boring. The majority of it's water and ethanol. And then you've got trace amounts of acids, you've got trace amounts of sugars.
And then in that last tiny 0.1%, you've got those much praised flavor, aroma, and color compounds.
Even though we're only talking about the last 0.1% or so that distinguishes wines, that's a very important 0.1% from a sensory perspective. Our ability to taste compounds goes down to the part per million, maybe within hundreds of parts per billion level.
Makes you feel kind of powerful, doesn't it? But before you declare that your Cabernet tastes of blueberries, let's get one thing straight.
Much of what we call taste, colloquially, is referring to aroma. When you put your nose into a glass of wine, you're smelling that small percentage of compounds that have gotten out of the wine, up into the air above the wine. And our ability to smell compounds goes down to the part per trillion level. Part per trillion is a few drops of a compound into a swimming pool.
And if plunging your nose into your glass seems snooty, there's a simpler way to experience aroma.
Take a swallow. When you do that, as you swallow, a little puff of air comes back up and it helps direct volatile compounds into your nose. And this is what we usually call taste. We'll say, this wine's got the taste of apples, or this apple has the taste of apples.
Hold your nose next time you take a sip of wine, and those unique tastes will disappear. All that will be left will be the
sweet,
from the sugars,
sour,
from the acids,
and bitter.
Mostly from the alcohol. These actual tastes work in concert with volatile aromas and convince you that your Chardonnay has an oaky flavor. And given that a lot of wine is aged in oak barrels, this shouldn't be a surprise.
Smoky, vanilla-like, toasty, that flavor is coming from compounds that are formed from the oak and often from the oak toasting.
A more fundamental way to control flavor concentrations is to pick the right type of grape. A Riesling grape varietal
tends to be acidic, but often smells floral. Those floral aromas are derived from compounds that are derived from grapes. Those compounds are called monoterpenes.
And they provide the same aroma you smell when you eat Skittles. Taste the rainbow, smell the monoterpenes. Another grape, the Syrah, typically produces a black peppery flavor. This unusual characteristic comes from an aroma compound
called rotundone. It's spelled like rotund one, pushed together. The grapes are making it, it's present in the skins, it's partially extracted during fermentation.
But it's strong enough to make you think someone ground up pepper in your wine. Growing practices can also have a significant impact on flavor compounds.
What about something like hints of green pepper? The main contributor in green peppers are a class of compounds called methoxypyrazines. They are exceptionally potent.
And they are the exact same compound found in wine.
Nature tends to just keep using the same compounds over and over rather than inventing new ones. In wine, we can have concentrations of MPs that are parts per trillion. They're found in the unripe fruits, and as the grapes mature, they will decrease in concentrations. So a grape grower or a winemaker can manipulate the concentrations of this green pepper aroma by choosing when to harvest. They could also manipulate it by changing the way the grapes are grown in the vineyard.
Grapes that are exposed to sunlight won't produce as much methoxypyrazine, so by plucking leaves from the plants, a grower reduces shade on the grape and helps to limit the green pepper flavor of their wine.
Especially in red wines, excessive vegetal aromas are usually considered undesirable.
Or it might be the note that you're looking for in your Sauvignon Blanc. Either way, Dr. Sachs is quick to point out that our perception of wines isn't just a matter of molecules.
If the chemistry was the only thing that mattered, I don't think that we would have wine appreciation or that we would have 100,000 different wines, because part of the wine is the experience of learning and knowing something about that wine.
And perhaps what it's made of. So the next time you're out at dinner with wine aficionados, each extolling the contents of their glass, feel free to add your own 2 cents.
Oh, rotundone.
Monoterpenes.
And some methyl mercaptan?
For Science Friday, I'm Luke Groskin.